The Jewish Week on JN1.
Since taking their first seat in Parliament back in 1858, the Jews of England have achieved enormous success in all walks of life, from politics to business to art. In fact, today it's a Jewish politician, Ed Miliband, that leads the opposition in the government. But what really seems to set apart British Jews from their brethren on the continent of Europe is a deep-seated sense of confidence. Perhaps that comes from the fact that they were never under the murderous reign of Hitler. In fact, the Jews fought bravely with the British to defeat the Third Reich. Join me for a special look at the Jewish community here in the country that gave us Shakespeare, Dickens, and the royal family. The British monarchy, with all its pomp and circumstance, still captivates the world. The centuries-old throne led by Queen Elizabeth II is revered by the British as an institution above politics, a living symbol of England's rich history. For the Jews, it is respected no less.
And our ties with the royal family are especially close. The Board of Deputies was formed as a result of a loyal address to the royal family.
The Board of Deputies of British Jews was established back in 1760 under King George III. For more than 250 years, its leaders have been talking to kings, queens, prime ministers, and MPs about the Jewish community.
We stand up for the interests of Jews, and they're manifold. They're the right to practice the Jewish religion, shechita, to carry out circumcision, things like that. They're our support for Israel, our organisation, our schools.
The Jews of Britain are a large, diverse, and active community that now numbers nearly 300,000. About two-thirds of the community live in and around London in suburbs like Golders Green. Other hubs include Manchester, Halstead, and Leeds. About 10,000 Jews live in Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales. William the Conqueror first invited Jewish moneylenders to settle in England in 1070, but by 1290, popular religious hatred led King Edward I to expel the Jews. It was more than 350 years before England would readmit them. A wealthy group of Sephardic merchants finally won the confidence of Lord Protector Oliver Cromwell in 1656. The Sephardic community made integrating into public English life a priority.
To English Jews, Montefiore was the epitome of a Jew who was observant, orthodox, proud as a Jew, but also a loyal servant of the crown. And that was the model that the Jewish elite aspired to.
Jews won full political emancipation by 1890. A Jewish convert to Christianity, Benjamin Disraeli, had become prime minister before that in 1874. At the end of the 19th century, thousands of Russian Jewish immigrants arrived in London's East End. Popular anti-Semitism grew, which led to the Aliens Act of 1905 that ended any more immigration. But the community in the East End flourished nonetheless.
We had the market across the road, we had synagogues on every corner, we had a Jewish youth club. Everything was there for us.
Sandys Row Synagogue was a mainstay in those days. Today it's kept going by Jews who still work in the East End area.
The vibrance of a synagogue, the vibrance of the Jewish people is what is happening now, what is going to happen, how our children are going to take it further, and how we're going to take it further.
Anti-Semitism continued to vex the Jewish community during the First World War, but it waned as Hitler's conquest of Europe began. Following Kristallnacht in 1938, British Jews secured permission from the government to bring more than 60,000 Jews persecuted by the Nazis to England. Another 10,000 Jewish children were smuggled out in the secret Kindertransport.
So at the end of the war, the British Jews who'd played a huge part in the war effort, way out of proportion to their numbers, serving in the military, in industry, in politics, in all aspects of the war effort, their dominant feeling was one of immense relief and huge gratitude.
The post-war period gave Jews even more opportunities to excel.
We've had Jews right at the top of the legal profession, right at the top of academia, and we've had so many Nobel Prize winners Jewish from this country. It's remarkable.
In the fine arts, British Jews have also come to prominence.
This, I think, is inspired by a line in Shakespeare, actually from Romeo and Juliet, where you have the lovers, their whole life is like a comet or a shooting star.
David Broyle-Weil is a Jewish painter and sculptor. His large, colorful canvases have both a philosophical and an apocalyptic feeling.
I have this idea that a human being is almost like a small person on a small piece of rock spinning in the middle of nowhere, and therefore it's man in search of meaning. And to be Jewish, really, in my thinking, is somebody who asks a lot of questions and is constantly in search of meaning.
Each morning before he starts painting, Brule Weil studies a page of the Talmud, what's called Daf Yomi.
There is a lot of Jewish philosophy in my work, but it's also quite universal, so you wouldn't necessarily know unless you knew. For example, there's many images in this exhibition where you have like figures standing one on top of the other, which is about the passing of generations and the passing of time, and the fact that we're in touch with our ancestors and with continuity and community and all of that kind of thing.
There's a sense of existential anxiety in Brule Weil's work, perhaps because his grandfather fled the Nazis, but many historians today believe Britain's Jews have never been so safe.
Jews are protected by law. Jewish culture is celebrated. Jewish institutions are flourishing. Jewish life in this country is booming.
The Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox population are certainly growing. Its 50,000 members now make up 16% of British Jewry.
People are beginning to look for more eternal values as just simply having a job, earning a living. What is there more to life? And so I think there is an increased interest in spirituality.
At the other end of the religious spectrum, the Reform movement is also booming.
I'm extremely Jewishly literate. I love Talmud, that's my thing.
Rabbi Jenna Klausner is the new senior rabbi of the Reform movement, which counts 12% of the community, or 36,000 British Jews, as members.
People come to our communities because they want something lively, they want something meaningful, they want equality between men and women, they want inclusivity on grounds of sexuality, on grounds of background. We have lots of people who come in from the Orthodox world.
Probably more than half the marriages contracted by Jews outside the ultra-Orthodox community have a non-Jewish partner. So it's maintaining that Jewish culture for the future. That's the biggest challenge.
Jewish continuity, not anti-Semitism, is the primary concern. Britain's newly installed chief rabbi Ephraim Mervis says one of his goals is to reach out to an estimated 85,000 unaffiliated Jews. This place hopes to do the same. Modern, hip, and buzzing with cultural events, the new Jewish Community Centre in North London is the talk of the town.
What we're trying to do here is we want to increase the quality, the variety and the volume of Jewish conversation in and around London. So this place is out, loud and proud Jewish.
Unapologetic and bold, JW3 hopes to attract unaffiliated Jews as well as non-Jews by showcasing Jewish culture, art and history. It was built with a generous £25 million donation from Dame Vivian Duffield. Its glass facade and inviting design are a departure from enclosed Jewish buildings.
What we're finding is over 4,500 people every single week are coming through these doors, and they're telling us that they're feeling that sense of pride when they go past the building, that it's got the word Jewish on the outside of the building, which is fantastic.
If JW3 is the newest spot trying to strengthen Jewish identity, JFS is one of the oldest, founded back in 1732.
It's always been our role both to represent the entire community, but also to ensure that we play a part in securing that Jewish continuity.
The Jewish Free School is Europe's largest Jewish school. 2,000 kids from secular to Orthodox, from 11 to 17 study here. The school was recently ranked among the country's top 5 for academic excellence. Head teacher Jonathan Miller says he's especially proud that 2/3 of the 14-year-olds here spend part of the summer in Israel. Over 50% of all British Jewish kids aged 15 and 16 visit Israel.
British Jewry is one of the most Zionist and pro-Israel communities of the entire diaspora, if not the most Zionist.
The community has to face its share of anti-Israel critics who boycott Israeli academics and lead divestiture campaigns.
There are quite a few institutions, including certain divisions of the Church of England, who have said we must boycott Israeli goods and we should not invest in any company which does business with Israel.
I'm here at Buckingham Palace. The Jewish community has been fortunate over the decades to come here and visit the royal family. The Board of Jewish Deputies is one of just 30 groups in England that have the privilege to give gifts to the Queen on special occasions. That means that last year on the Diamond Jubilee, the 60th anniversary of the Queen on the throne, the Jewish community presented the Queen with the oldest Jewish manuscript in the country. From Buckingham Palace, I'm Jordana Miller reporting for JN1.